It's recording. Say something.
Yo,
Okay, yeah. We're good. All right. Um. Uh. You can ask me a question whenever. If you want to do an intro, you can too.
yeah, I'm here with Moppy, at his request to interview him for
Bro, you don't have
a
to say
promotion
that, bro.
of
What the hell are you talking
of
about? Nah, cut
of
that
the
shit.
of
Cut
the
that shit. Cut that shit. Just ask me the questions.
okay,
Just ask me the
okay,
questions.
all right. Okay, so um, I'll get right into it. Yeah, I'll get right into it. God, I'm bad at this. Okay. What was the goal of releasing No Shortage, and what was your process for compiling all of the songs?
So I have been talking about this in some reels and some stories. So people probably, if they have been listening, they already know that I did this to experiment and to see how much I could push myself creatively and, you know, as an artist, and how much outreach I could have by, pumping as much content and as much, reels, YouTube videos or music videos, songs as possible. And that was pretty much the whole, like, process was me making songs because I was feeling very motivated creatively, and then just like kind of trying to do my best to promote them when I have like no following. I literally have barely any people that care about my music, and it just I wanted to see how much I could do with no attention, and it was just like, oh, it was a whole experiment.
Yeah. No, that's true. You did do a lot of shows. I've been to a few. I've been to a few of
And
those.
shows too, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You did like merchandise
Hmm.
and yeah. I mean, I will say I care about your music, and I hope other people will too. When you like put yourself like the more you put yourself out there. So yeah.
I'm working on it.
All right, yeah, for sure. Um so my next question is what experiences or people have made you become Moppy?
Well, I would say that it started when I was in high school and I was just making video game YouTube videos. It started with Minecraft, and then I started playing Counter Strike, and the whole idea of Moppy was to be my YouTube channel, and I thought I was gonna be a YouTuber. I really wanted to be a YouTuber. I mean, my Minecraft channel had decent views, and if I kept pursuing that, I could have done something with it, but once I got into high school, I felt like I felt, like a lot of people were making fun of me and shit. So I just decided to like stop. And then once I became diagnosed with bipolar, it really opened me up when I had a manic episode to like try new things and be creative. So I was like, I always, for a while, I liked rap music, but I wasn't like, I would say, a nerd about it until I was about 16, 17. I really got into it. And then I just like, once I turned 18, I started freestyling and started making my own beats when I was, in my 20s. And then it just kind of turned into a whole career, I feel like, because now I feel like I'm serious about it. I do shows, I sell merch, I have dropped over, 4 or 5 albums now and projects. So I feel like I'm I'm knee deep in this shit, and I'm not gonna stop. It's not stopping.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's yeah, I think you have told me about it a bit more, but like you have told me about how you started. It's kind of like a canon event for a lot of underground rappers to have a Minecraft YouTube channel. I guess like, well, I don't know if Baby Keem is an underground, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, not even just, well, he was underground at one point, so everybody's
True,
underground at one
true.
point. But I know what you mean. It is very canon. It's very a canon event for, under, like, I think Two Hollis did too. So it's just like
Oh yeah, no, he definitely did. He was doing
yeah,
like Minecraft hyperpop concerts.
yeah, it's definitely like a canon event for sure. Like Minecraft is where it starts. So your question is answered by Minecraft is where it starts basically.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's not just Minecraft. I mean, I did kind of want to like slightly avoid this question. However, like it's sort of inevitable with every interview of any artist. But like when you did start listening to rap music or like really intently listening to music, like what influenced you?
So I will say that the first rap song, it sounds very Zoomer. Like, forgive me, all the rap old heads and people who have loved rap since the 90s, but Childish Gambino 3005 was the first song that I ever listened to that made me become a rap fan. I listened to Jay-Z and Kanye and that shit before I listened to this when I was younger, but it didn't really hit me until I listened to that song in particular. I was just like, this is awesome. This is what I want to do. This is cool. Like it inspired me so much. And like after that, it just was a chain reaction domino effect. I just started to get into other stuff like Tyler the Creator, Kanye, and you know, the biggest like I would say summer for me was the Saturation trilogy, Brockhampton Summer. Like if you're my age, if you're 25 and you were a rap nerd, you remember Saturation, how big that was to you and how big Brockhampton was to you because it was a movement that kind of accelerated whatever your passion was for music or your passion was for rap music because it really did to me because that made me realize that anybody can do this shit. Anybody can, you know, just go hard and it'll just come to you if you really put your mind to it and you really crack the code because it's like people don't want to realize that you can just do stuff if you just do it and it really just take like chiseling the fucking the brick or the rock until it becomes something that you knew that you could do because I think everything is conceivable and once you start to set small goals and you reach those and then you go set the bigger goals as long as you just keep going at it it's going to happen and if it doesn't happen that just means you didn't try hard enough and you didn't really do what you were set out to do and it's a hard disconnect between people who have failed or people who have kept going because they don't believe in failure, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like yeah, it's like the DIY ethos
Yeah.
of Brockhampton definitely. Like yeah, I think there are a lot of times I feel like every artist kind of relates to like having like slumps or failures and then keeping going and everything. Um, I will say like and I know I guess like later on you were influenced maybe more like of course by JPEG Mafia or Mike.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. But yeah. You talk about how you love JPEG Mafia a lot, but I'm not gonna like fixate on that too much. Um, but yeah, the DIY ethos. Yeah, achieving like I think every artist can learn from that is just setting small goals. Um, but anyway, would you like to I don't know, I'm just gonna move on to the last question, unless you
No
have any
worries.
questions for me, I guess.
Nah, I'm gonna it's all good. I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna put the whole thing on YouTube probably, and then I'm just gonna edit it to make it a reel. So don't worry about how long it takes. Just keep. You can just keep. We can just keep talking for a little bit.
I bet.
I do have
Okay.
to. I do have to go in like probably like 5 or 10 minutes. But you can ask me the last question.
Okay. All right. Here it is. Do you think that the concept of underground rap has become abstract and meaningless, and as we continue to celebrate mediocrity and obscurity over actual skill, we dig ourselves deeper into a hole of aura farming and imitation that will lead to the scene's demise?
Well, I do think that underground rap is the most ambiguous and vague term nowadays because when we look at underground rap, we will fall into some problems, which is a lot of people will say that something like Suicide Boys is underground rap when clearly if you understand metrics and you understand fame, they're not underground and they may have been underground for like 5 years when they first started, but they're not underground. They haven't been underground since 2015 or maybe before that. So
Yeah.
then there's like
Obviously, no diss to Suicide Boys.
no diss to Suicide Boys. They're doing their thing. I hope that lawsuit blows over, whatever the fuck. But the other thing is,
I didn't hear about that.
yeah, Juicy J and DJ Paul, 3 6 Mafia, they're suing the fuck out of them. They've been suing the fuck out of them for like just sampling them and shit. But
Dang.
and then also underground nowadays is like it's kind of like a rapper of the week or rapper of the month or rapper of the year type thing. So like rappers
Oh
will
yeah.
just skyrocket into fame somehow out of nothing. And I this is what I think about Fake Mink. I love Fake Mink. Fake Mink is my dream feature right now. I'd love to work with Fake Mink, but the way that he kind of blew up is kind of insane. Meaning that he didn't really do anything that you would do to be an underground rapper that would blow up at all. It just kind of happened, and that is possible now. You could literally just like
Mhm.
anybody can make music on their MacBook and just like with it or on their phone with a shitty ass mic, AirPod
Mhm.
mic or something, and they can just blow up. And like that's kind of what all
Yeah.
these rappers do nowadays. So it's oversaturated. Uh, it's 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 uh it's more hard, it's harder, but it's also easier. So like the ways that
Mhm.
make it hard is that everybody's doing it, but the ways that make it easier is just luck. So if you're lucky, you're just gonna get it. And like it's just like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it also takes a lot of like skill and knowledge and studying to understand what is going to set you apart from other people. And I feel like this whole no shortage thing set me apart because I did so many different styles. I did so many different things and I had different features. And I feel like I did as much as I could to set myself apart from anybody, especially near me in my area, but also just to create more experimental hip hop because, in my opinion, underground hip hop and experimental hip hop are two different things. Experimental hip hop is a whole genre, and underground hip hop is an umbrella for a bunch of people that make rap music that are underground and not noteworthy enough to be considered or household name. So I feel like
Mhm.
experimental hip hop doesn't get looked at enough and is overlooked as a genre and has always been
Mhm.
overlooked as a genre because people will appreciate people like Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia, um, and Injury Reserve and fucking clipping and shit like that. But these guys are gonna stay in their lane, and I like that lane, and I want to create myself into a lane like that. But I don't care
Mhm.
about being this underground aura farming, god or idol that like
Exactly.
say a Netspin or
Yeah.
a Two Hollis or a Ken Carson or a Ian. Like I don't want to be like that. I have
Mhm.
no. I want to have a
Bro,
niche.
Ian has no aura
Okay,
whatsoever.
whatever. I want to have I want to have this niche fan base, this niche lane. I'm very inspired by Kill Bill the rapper.
Right.
His lane is what am striving for right now. If I could like conceivably have a goal, which is to tour, sell merch, sell CDs, sell, make an album every year, work with people that I like and, have my own label and just make enough money to make a living off music and not have to worry about having a part-time job or a full-time job. That is awesome, and I don't want to like expect that, but I want to strive for that because I just think that Kill Bill the rapper is like the probably my favorite underground rapper because that's an actual underground rapper in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like people like Netspin and people like just like Black Boy Max, the people that go on his streams, or anybody like Che, Nine Vicious, all these underground rappers, right? I don't think
I
like
mean,
once you
again, no diss to Che,
no
but
notice to
yeah.
Che, notice to any of these rappers. I mean, doesn't
Except for Nine Vicious.
yeah,
Fuck Nine
fuck
Vicious.
yeah. I just putting him out there as a level of how big they are is
Yeah.
not to me. That's not underground. It might seem underground because the average person is not going to know. The average rap fan is going to know Eminem, Lil Wayne, Tyler the Creator, but they're not going to know. You know, they're not going to know like Benji Bluebills or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
these guys are on the cusp, and they're not underground to me. Underground to me means that a regular rap fan that follows underground music is gonna not gonna really know who they are because they're so obscure, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that I think true underground hip hop means that you are overlooked and you're not appreciate it enough, and you don't
Mhm.
you kind of go through the cracks. I would call myself an underground rapper because
Mhm.
I don't have any buzz. I don't have any like, but Kill Bill has a lot of
Yeah.
he has his buzz and he has his livelihood. But
Mhm.
you talk to someone who's gonna know about all these like underground sound and XXL freshman people, and they're not gonna know who the fuck he is. So
Yeah.
it's just kind
That's
of like
true.
it's a hard disconnect because it's like it's like he has hundreds of thousands of plays and millions of plays on Spotify, but I still call him underground. And I would say someone like Lil Ugly Mane still gets that credit too because he's
Mhm.
also always been an underground rapper and has seen glimpses when he's working with people like Denzel Curry when Denzel Curry was considered underground because back
Mhm.
when Mr. Thug Isolation came out, Denzel Curry was underground. Raider Clan was underground. That was underground. That was what people were talking about. And before he was XXL freshman, and before he was in the Florida rap scene, Space Ghost Perp, all that shit was underground. And it's weird me saying that people like Che and Netspin aren't underground because they're just not. In my opinion, they were like a year ago
They
or
did
2 years
just do
ago.
they did just do Summer Smash.
I
So
know.
like,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That puts them over the edge of being not underground anymore. So I'm trying to say that people that even people who are overlooked over time who never get shine like Kill Bill the rapper, but he's in his own lane. And I would say that's true underground. And I'll also say that's experimental rap or abstract hip hop that I want to be in. I want to be in that lane where nobody knows who I am, but the people that do know who I am like me. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I kind of beat it. I beat around the bush a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was going around the bush about too much, and I wasn't explaining myself the best. But what I mean is there's a difference between the rapper of the year, rapper of the week underground and the overlooked true underground artist who doesn't have that mainstream appeal is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
It's just two
Yeah, I
different
think
it's two
yeah.
different lanes that I want to be in that other lane. I don't want to have people talk about me on sad PRT or for the speakers or rap blogs that, care about hip hop. I want to be on the Kill Bill lane where I get to do my own thing and I get people to appreciate me because they like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I guess like I think we've had a few conversations about like what makes a rapper underground. I think like having a cult online following, right?
Mhm.
And then making experimental music, um, and then and then some third thing. I don't fucking know. I think that was yeah, those were the fucking main two that we talked about. But anyway, like, but yeah, that's important that you want to carve that lane out for yourself. Um, I remember you kind of put me on to Kill Bill that night we just went to local 506 and that was one of the best shows I've been to. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was crazy.
It's cool that I'm talking to Local 506 right now to maybe get a show, and that's also like that makes me feel like I'm not too far off from getting to where Kill Bill is if I keep going the way I went. If I keep going the way I
Yeah,
go, because I remember when I first started writing raps, and I you remember going to Kill Bill's Ramona and looking at the bars and being like, I didn't want to copy them, obviously, but I was just like, how do I write bars like this?
yeah,
How do I get the right syllables counts or the flows to get myself to sound as good as this, but it's like a whole
yeah.
inspiration thing, and obviously you're going to start to wear your influences on your sleeve. I still wear influences on my sleeve, but I feel like with my next album and my next two albums and my next three albums, eventually I'm going to get to that point where my shit sounds like my shit and I sound like Moppy, and I don't have to worry about people comparing me to other people because I honestly think that my shit's gonna sound like myself. And people can compare
Hmm.
me to other people all they want. That's what people love to do. People just love to compare you to people. But
Right.
I know that in myself that I listen to my own music the most. I have I'm starting to listen to myself more than I listen to any of my favorite artists because if you don't listen to yourself as much as you listen to your favorite artist, or maybe if you don't, if you should be listening to it more, in my opinion, just because if it means you're proud of your music and that you want to keep making music and that you are, you know, you're your best critic, and you're also like you enjoy it the most because you made it for yourself, because I made it for myself. So like if I didn't listen to my music at all, then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't this wouldn't mean anything to me, you know?
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, I know we should probably like wrap it up soonish, but
Yeah.
what does Moppy sound like?
Mobby sounds like bipolar, uh nowadays stable bipolar. It used to sound very manic bipolar. And honestly, I can't really tell you what that means because it's just like, to me, I use bipolar as not a crutch, but a creative energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you look down upon your mental illnesses, or you feel slighted by them, or you feel like you can't, you feel like disabled from them because of them, then you're not in the right headspace and that you need help. And I feel like I wasn't in the right
Mm-hmm.
headspace, and I used music as that outlet. So you could tell that if you listen to my music, you're going to tell I'm mentally ill. But the sound, I would say, is experimental, it's abstract, it's cloud rap, it's, vaporwave, it's a lot of samples, a lot, sometimes synths nowadays. Just I've made a
Sometimes industrial or
yeah,
distorted type shit.
I try to look at abstract hip hop and experimental hip hop and try to go through the spectrum with those genres, because I want to, like, my first album I would say is vaporwave, cloud rap, like abstract hip hop, and my second album is like experimental industrial, Death Grips, JPEG Mafia, Resin by Kill Bill the Rapper, just experimental hip hop. And now my third album that is not out yet is
Mm-hmm.
kind of just a lot of mix of all that shit together, and it's kind of new, and it's a sound that I've been striving for, and I feel like it's coming to my own sound, because it's not like I have to choose one lane, which is the, cloudy abstract what lane, or the deathly industrial devilish experimental lane. It's like this is like
Mm-hmm.
combining both, but to make them not sound like either, where it kind of just sounds like experimental hip hop, because that's just an umbrella term to put this type of music into. And then with No
Mm-hmm.
Shortage, it's just all of that. Like, I literally went through the whole
Yeah, I
spectrum
was about to say.
of experimental slash abstract, because like people want to say experimental hip hop, people want to say abstract hip hop. They're different. You can explain what they're different for, but I'm gonna say experimental slash abstract hip hop. But the full spectrum of what that covers is what No Shortage is, because there's some songs like, 50 milligrams, now called flufenazine, where it's like kind of bones, like, dirty southern trap, like Memphis shit. And then there's also like, you know you only get one chance, which sounds like kind of like a cloud rap Mike song. And then there's like Hunter
There's a couple
Schafer.
songs that I've helped you with.
There's
I
also
guess like I always
ahead
give
of our
credit on
time
that.
with Twig Haley, which sounds like a plug, like just like a cutesy plug, like experimental rap song. And then there's also, because I sampled like something really strange, like some Japanese like song on there.
It was like city pop, I
City
think.
pop.
Yeah.
It's like city pop plug, which I feel like no one does. And then there's also like,
Mm-hmm. I mean,
uh
Pierre did it like once, but
yeah,
yeah,
Pierre did it with Pissy Pamper, but no one really caught on, I feel like. You know what I mean? There's very few
yeah.
people that caught on to that type of lane. I feel like I'm taking something that never came out, but it was always just like, blackballed, and then I'm just like making it become a thing again, because we're doing that with some other stuff that's not released yet. So I feel like we're just gonna keep experimenting and doing shit that was, you know, not built on. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the Pierre shit that didn't get released was not built on, and it didn't get its shine. So I feel like with the songs that we're making, we're doing the Pierre plug and uh like vapor wavy type shit that like no one's doing. In my opinion, no one's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I actually pride myself that I make songs and I make beats, and we both make beats that no one else is doing. That's why I called it ahead of our
Mm-hmm.
time, because I think people don't really see the beauty of it yet, and once they do, they'll realize, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, like these guys were doing, vaporwave plug, like city pop samples like when no one was doing it, which is like it might have been a thing in the past, it might be a thing in the future, but we're doing it when no one's doing it, so we're still ahead of our time in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Type shit.
That's pretty much it. Like, uh, I feel like that's how I explain myself is like most people can't really relate to me because they don't understand, mental illness or bipolar, but like if you really listen to my lyrics, if you listen to my beats, you'll definitely pick up on it. And it's not a bad thing. And if you don't want it to be a good thing, it's not a good thing. But to me, it's just how it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Cause like,
Well
cause like,
said.
cause like I can say bipolar, right? And I don't feel like like a dick like all the time because some people when they say they're bipolar or they talk about bipolar or they'd be like, oh that shit's so bipolar. It's just like that. It's always negative, but I'm not really. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's better to use it as a positive thing for me
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it's what created me to become special and become a better person and to be able to be a rapper and to make music is because I'm bipolar. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be with if I wasn't
Yeah.
bipolar, I wouldn't be able to make music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's
No.
definitely,
Yeah.
it,
I feel the exact same way.
yeah. Like
And I also have bipolar. I'm not gonna make it about me, but yeah.
I know, bro, I know. But yeah, it's definitely cool to relate to someone who is mentally ill because then you understand them better than most people do, and you also understand why they make music because it's literally like expressing yourself, and it can be therapeutic, and it can also be some of the best ways to pass your time when you are on this fucking earth and you are human.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that should be good. That should be good. We can wrap it up.
All right. Type shit. Okay. Cool.
All right, thank you.
This has been the interview experience. Whatever. All right. Bye.